Hey guys, it's Sarah and I'm here with the first Top 5 Wednesday video for 2016. Top 5 Wednesday is a video series that was created by Lainey at Ginger Reads Lainey, and I'll include a link to her channel along with the Goodreads group that was created for this. So every week there is a topic and we do our top 5 choices for whatever the topic is. This week, it is going to be our top 5 favorite fandoms. So that can be anything from books to TV shows to movies, podcasts, like kind of something that kind of made fans go crazy and fans are obsessed with, and it's like a whole big culture type thing. So here's my top 5. Number 5 is Twilight. So I'm picking this because Twilight has I think this was the 10th anniversary since Twilight had started being released, and people are still obsessed with this book series. I was definitely one of those people where I was obsessed with it. I was reading it. I was at the store the day that the next one came out so I could buy it and read it really quickly. I also enjoyed the movies. As I've gotten a little older and read some more stuff, I don't love it quite as much. I think if I read it today, I'd be like, oh, ugh. But at the time, I was totally into it. And yeah, it's just still so popular, and people still talk about it, and they're like Team Edward and Team Jacob and all this stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna say that one for number 5. Number 4, I'm gonna group two things together, which is don't yell at me, do not yell at me, but I'm putting Star Wars and Star Trek together. And the reason is because these get confused all the time by people who are not specific to either Star Wars or Star Trek. They'll be like, well, this, that's Star Wars, or this, that's Star Trek. And I just think it's hilarious. I like both of them. I'm probably a little more partial to Star Wars, but my father is a big Star Trek fan, and so we kind of, grew up watching him watch the show. And I personally have really loved the movies, especially the newer ones that are out. I'm really excited for the next one. But yeah, so Star Wars, Star Trek, and kind of the battle between them, I think is just hilarious. Number 3 is Firefly. Now, this is a TV show, and they also did a movie, but this is something that I recently discovered this year, or I had heard about it, but I had never watched it, and I finally watched it this year, and I loved it. Basically, this is a TV series that was on the Sci-Fi Network, and it follows a group of people who travel through space, and they kind of do like under the table work for other people. So kind of shady, a little shady stuff. Basically they're space cowboys is what I described it as. But Nathan Fillion is the star, and I love all things Nathan Fillion. So obviously I loved this. The show was great. It was super funny. I was surprised at how funny it was. There's a lot of action in it, and you saw kind of different types of people and some aliens and things like that. It was so cool, and it only lasted a season, and then they canceled it on Sci-Fi, and a lot of people were really upset about that. And it still has like this following. People still talk about Firefly, and they still watch the show. They watch it over and over again. There was also a movie that I have not seen yet, but I need to. It's on Amazon. But there's a movie that kind of helps conclude some stuff, because the end of the first season, there's a lot of stuff unresolved, and you're like, what's happening? Why these people never did anything? And so from what I'm hearing, the movie kind of helps tie that all together. But I think it's hilarious that it was only one season, but people are just still completely obsessed with it, myself included. So Firefly. Number 2 is Harry Potter. So Harry Potter is probably the most popular books of all time, and for good reason. They are amazing books. The movies were amazing as well. This is the one example of the movies doing the books justice. Obviously there's more details in the books because they're longer, but they're both really good. And yeah, just the whole thing is amazing. I love seeing people dressed up as the characters, and from seeing other people, read the books multiple times. I've only read them once. I want to reread them again. But just when you're rereading them, you constantly are catching things that you maybe didn't catch the first time around, maybe because you're speed reading through them because they're so good. So the more you take your time, the more little tidbits you pick up on. And there's always something else to catch up, to kind of realize as you're reading them. So Harry Potter, super awesome. And my number one favorite fandom is The Walking Dead. So, what I love about this TV show is that it got me to watch it when I don't like horror or zombies or that kind of stuff. But this is my favorite show that's on television right now. It is 100% Sunday night. My husband and I are sitting down and we're watching Walking Dead. And what I love about this fandom so much is that it includes so many different people, and I don't know, there's so much that you want to take in. You know, there's so much that you want to elaborate on and kind of decipher. There's a whole show called The Talking Dead, which comes on right after it, which is basically psychoanalyzing the episode that you just watched and what happens in previous season and is now happening now and blah, blah, blah. And it goes into all this stuff, almost to conspiracy level type things. It's so awesome. And I just love that it spawned from a graphic novel series, and they did change enough in the show, I think, that they're not quite the same. Some of the characters went off in different directions. Daryl in the show isn't even in the comic books at all, so that's interesting because he's like a fan favorite. But I also love that this show is not afraid to shock you. It's not afraid to kill off its characters. You kind of go into every episode not knowing, you don't know what's going to happen. You can kind of guess and kind of hope that things are going to happen, but you don't know. You don't know where they're going to go. They are not afraid to kill people off. They're not afraid of breaking your heart. And I don't know. And the biggest example I can think of recently was Glenn, because they left off on an episode thinking that Glenn died. You're just like, but there's also all these conspiracy theories that were going on for almost 3 weeks because it took that long to get back to Glenn's story and what actually happened. But we spent 3 weeks going, did he die? I don't know. I don't think so. There's a garbage can there. I think he got under the garbage can. Maybe he got in the garbage can. Maybe he actually is dead. Maybe that was zombies eating him instead of the person on top of him. So it was just crazy, all the talk that was going on. And I was definitely included in that talk because just, that show I don't know, it shocks you and it makes you happy and it makes you sad and it makes you really anxious to know what's happening with these characters. It started off about the zombies and now it's about the characters. Like, it's just, the zombies are just, they're there. I don't know. I just love it. I love all the characters on it and just, it's so good. It's so good. And just the popularity around it and the people who are supporting it and, dressing up as zombies all the time and dressing up as the main characters and going to Comic-Con and doing all this stuff and, having real in-depth discussions about it, I think is just amazing that this one idea has done this to so many people around the world. So yeah, Walking Dead, my favorite fandom, hands down. Okay, so those are my top 5 favorite fandoms. Let me know in the comments down below what some of your favorites are and we can talk about it. I will see you guys again real soon. Have a great day. Bye.